Good morning, everyone.
Sanctuary. It was because his family was on vacation, so he said, I got time to come over. Do it. It's
Wow, where's our class? Jane said, we're here. Yeah, yes. Where are the pilgrims?
They're out getting coffee out there.
Like in John Wayne, maybe you go, well, pilgrim.
You didn't say it low enough or draw it out.
Okay, let's pray. Father, thank you for this day. This is the day of the Lord, and this is the day that we gather to worship in your house and enjoy the day of rest as we begin the week and under the new covenant. And we thank you, Jesus, that our rest is in you. You are our Sabbath, not a special day, but it is you. We ask that you will help us as we're studying about how you helped founded this. You were the one who was greatly providential with our leaders in the finding of the United States of America. So give us insight here to all that we're learning. We bless this time together in Jesus' name. And all the other classes that are meeting today, may they have a good day in the Lord. They're learning and applying. And we love you, Jesus, and thank you. Amen. Thank you for our freedom. So today we're on chapter 6, the Pilgrims. The Pilgrims. Everybody got it? Chapter 6, Pilgrims? Okay. The Pilgrims, a model of Christian character. The separatist movement began in England in the latter part of the 16th century as people began to embrace the idea of Reformation. The many separatists in and around the little town of Scrooby in North England were destined to have a great impact upon the world. For it was here that many of the pilgrims had their roots in this town called Scrooby. I guess that's how you pronounce it. At Scrooby, these Christians wrote a church covenant. It was the first of its kind, affirming church self-government in 1606. Three of the most prominent leaders of the Pilgrims started on their great pilgrimage from Scrooby, and we're going to look at them. One of them was William Brewster, 1516 to 1644. What's that?
He looks.
You look like a rooster.
Well, back then this was a smile. Okay. William Brewster was one of the only pilgrims to have a position in the English society, and that was by no means an exalted one. He set about trying to reform the Church of England from within by getting good scriptural preachers for the local congregations and paying for them out of his own pocket. Wow. When the Church of England demanded more rigid conformity to its rituals and rejected the right of individuals to hear unauthorized preachers, Brewster finally decided to separate from the church and to covenant with other Christians in his area to form a scriptural congregation. One of the things we could discuss at some time is how effective is reform within. Let's say tried to bring brothers and sisters who wanted to bring reform in the Catholic Church, how far would they get? Or in an Anglican church, or any church. Even in little churches, if you bring in reform, you're labeled. Brewster later served as an elder in congregations in England, Holland, and America. During his first year in America, the Pilgrims had no pastor, so Brewster effectively served in that capacity. So one of the early founders of the Pilgrims, they were called the Separatists, was William Brewster. Okay? If he showed up in church and preached, we pay attention, wouldn't we? We'd be scared. Those look like some of the preachers that came when I was little, you know. They put the fear of God in you. Just by looking at them. Just by looking at them, you want to confess. The next one is John Robinson, 1576 to 1625. John Robinson, more than anyone else, prepared the Pilgrims to accomplish a great task of preparing the way for the settlement of a new nation. It was he who served as a Pilgrim pastor in England and Holland. Robinson was trained as a clergyman in the Church of England, but was dismissed from his first pastoral assignment for failure to conform to the Church of England. John Robinson prepared a people to take dominion over the wilderness for the glory of God. Speaking of the wilderness in America, through the godly wisdom, he taught the Pilgrims individual Christian unity. And then the third one was a man by the name of William Bradford. You probably remember this from your history lessons. 1590 to 1657. One of the best-known Pilgrim fathers, William Bradford. He served as governor of Plymouth for 33 years and also wrote the history of the Plymouth Plantation, the first great literary work of America. It was in 1602 when Bradford started attending the Separatist Church in Scooby. 6 years later, he would travel with parts of the church to Holland, and then 12 years after that, he would come with a smaller number to America. William Bradford, John Robinson, and William Brewster were some of the early pilgrims coming out of what they call the Separatist movement. Okay, any questions you have on the Pilgrims? We're going to study how they got here now. Anybody been at the Plymouth Plantation? Down in Virginia?
I think I might have been.
Were you there?
I've been to Jamestown.
Jamestown. It would be close to Jamestown,
Yeah, I
wouldn't
went
it?
to Jamestown. Went to Plymouth.
Or is this in Plymouth? Maybe I got this wrong. Is this in Virginia?
Yeah, no, this would be Massachusetts. They were going to Virginia, and then they,
Oh, that's right.
yeah.
That's right.
Actually, I think we're going to try to see Plymouth, the Rock.
Plymouth Rock?
Yeah, Plymouth Rock. Yeah, where the Mayflower landed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you go look at the monument in Boston also?
Yeah.
Stand on it and take a picture for
Yeah,
us.
I will.
And then don't send us the fine when you get charged a fine.
I said my pastor said to do that.
A book which every American and Christian should read, but whose title is rarely mentioned in our schools today, is William Bradford's of Plymouth Plantation. This history plainly reveals God's hand in the Pilgrims' lives and in the events they went through to settle in the north parts of America. We can see no greater human example of Christian character than in the lives of the Pilgrims. So what they did was they paved the way for the Christian character in our country, the Pilgrims. Okay? We only hear about them during Thanksgiving, don't we? But thank God that God brought them over. Okay? And I don't know who would be, anybody, well, there used to be, we're going to look at people's names that came over to Mayflower. I remember an old Beverly Hillbillies movie, and remember Mrs. Dryden, she goes, well, my ancestors came over on the Mayflower. Yeah. Right. That sets you up if you came over to Mayflower.
was just the Mayflower moving.
Yeah. Like it was a big cruise ship. Yeah. So, anybody have any family that came over on the Mayflower? And your tracing of your history?
They say about 10% of Americans have some sort of
1%?
10%.
Oh,
have
10%.
Trace something. One of their ancestors back, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So probably.
I can't go.
Yeah.
Not my ancestors, but I read a, what do you call it, historical fiction book.
Yeah.
And based on scripture or historical facts, this lady from this area, she wrote 3 books, sequels, and she was in the midst of the last one, Abner's
Story.
Anyway, she went in depth in the conditions. Now, this was in the 1600s, so, and it was hard to read some of those stories.
Yeah.
It was divinity.
They faced scurry on the ships, disease and that. Mm-hmm. Vicky, did you come in on the Mayflower? I saw a little boat on this picture, a little boat tagging along. Well, let's look at the Mayflower. After 66 days at sea, in a space no larger than a volleyball court, these 102 passengers aboard the Mayflower finally reached America. The Pilgrims' intention was to settle just north of the Virginia colony, but were providentially blown off course and under the jurisdiction of the Virginia Land Company. Being unable to sail southward due to the weather, they put ashore at Cape Cod. So their intentions was to come in Virginia and were blown. They couldn't go south because of the weather and ended up at Cape Cod. Nothing is done by accident, right? Had they arrived here some years earlier at Cape Cod, they would have been met by the, how do you pronounce that? Toxic Indians, and would have found no place to settle. These Indians had murdered many white men who landed on their shores, but in 1617, a plague had mysteriously wiped them out, all except one, Squanto. And now, neighboring tribes were afraid to come near the place for fear that some great supernatural spirit had destroyed them. Everybody's heard of Squanto, right? Yeah.
They're not mentioned here. I read some time ago that the 102 people aboard the Mayflower, almost half of them, they died in the way before they got here. So we don't know exactly how many they landed.
Yeah.
It's funny,
Well.
we certainly never learned any of this in our history classes, did we?
You wouldn't,
This land was cleared off for them to come in, and I'm sure it was disease. I didn't know about this Virginia Land Company, so that means that there was already people who had,
that's what brought them over, this Virginia Land Company.
wow.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
And boy, if you had problems with claustrophobia,
Oh,
volleyball court, how big is a volleyball court? Not sure.
that's the size of
You
the
know,
nest.
John Smith, right? And Pocahontas,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah,
Jamestown.
Yeah, we read that, but I didn't realize that there had been people, because I knew that most of the Indians, because everybody's like, oh, we killed them. Well, we didn't intentionally kill them. It was a systems difference in our bodies and their bodies, and what we brought.
They weren't used to disease.
Anybody been up to see the Mayflower? Okay.
I didn't see the Mayflower, but in 2019, Dad and my siblings and I, we went to the Lost Colony in Roanoke Island.
Oh, wow. Did you find it?
Oh boy.
We went on vacation to the beach at Nags Head, but Roanoke Island was there, so I got to walk onto a replica of the ship, and it was tinier than I expected. I even got to go down below deck it's like, it was a replica of the one ship. But it's like, wow. Yeah, I think Dad has video of our trip there. Like,
Oh, it's pretty cool.
I hope they, 102, they were probably all thin, maybe, when they went. Well, you had to think about food and water for how long? 66 days. That would have been, what, 2 months, a little over 2 months on that ship. Wow. Where is the Mayflower harbor at? Is it in Boston?
The real one? Is it still standing?
Like a replica. They have a replica, I think, at Plymouth.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
They didn't save the old one?
They could probably rot it away by now.
They probably have
Two people on it.
I think we should all, as a class, make a trip to Boston. Want to go to Boston together?
Yes, and go see
Yeah,
the
Mike could
monument.
drive us. He got CDL license, and we get a big bus.
We'll get them a school bus.
And yes, bring your tea. We're going to dump it in the river.
hey, if you're not joking, that would be fun. We just, I'm not listening to you.
Oh boy, we're sharp today. Okay, next one. William Brewster and Reverend John Robinson lead the Pilgrims in prayer before their voyage to America. They needed prayer, didn't they? We always need prayer. Now, let's look at the signing of the Mayflower Compact. The Mayflower Compact was the first governing document of Plymouth Colony. It was written by the male passengers of the Mayflower, consisting of separatist Congregationalists who called themselves saints, and adventurers and tradesmen, most of whom were referred to by the separatists as strangers. Later, both groups were referred to as pilgrims or pilgrim fathers. The separatists were fleeing from religious persecution by King James of England. We studied about him last week. The Mayflower Compact was signed aboard ship on November 11, 1620, by the Pilgrims. They used the Julian calendar, also known as the Old Style dates, which at that time was 10 days behind the Gregorian calendar. Signing the compact were 41 of the ship's 101 passengers, while the Mayflower was anchored in what is now Providental Harbor within the Hook at the northern tip of Cape Cod. So I guess that's where it's at, if it's a replica or what, at Cape Cod. Have you been at Cape Cod? You guys been? Okay.
I think they have the replica. I think it's at Plymouth now. I think
Plymouth?
they're close to the rock, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's not the original.
It's not the original
Yeah,
one.
I don't think the original survived.
So I wonder if the 41 that signed it was the total number that did make it.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, knowing what you knew now, would you got on that ship to come over?
Nope. I'll be honest.
It would have been, that was a sacrifice.
That was a.
Of course, you gotta figure though, what were they leaving? I mean, if you're facing persecution and possibly death,
Well, yeah,
maybe that's why they were willing to do that.
James 1, we say last week, started the persecution of them.
Yeah.
So it's either stay in England,
Otherwise, they would have probably stayed in England, but they're
yeah, or get on this ship and go to America.
I don't know. Look at how much conformity we had right here just during COVID.
How much what?
Conformity. Wear a muzzle, stay 6 feet apart, get a jab. A lot of people just conform to it, you know, and the same with even what's going on in Spain right now. They just now are finally hitting the wall. Depends on where your wall is.
Well, let's, how can we bring this down today? So, the Mayflower, it was sort of like the Ark, wasn't it? Only 8 people got on the Ark. What was the Ark all about?
a lot of animals were on it.
What's that?
A lot of animals.
A lot of animals. A lot of animals. There was a floating zoo.
The ark was about salvation.
in some ways, liberty of freedom. And so the Mayflower was about freedom, getting out of England. And who's our ship today? Who's the ark today? Jesus. And we need to get in him before the tribulations come. Yeah. So I gave you a facsimile of Governor Bradford's handwritten copy of the Mayflower Compact.
Such beautiful
Can
hand.
you read that?
Yeah,
That's a facsimile of the.
yeah, I can. Very important. Yeah.
What's that? What did he say?
Can you read it?
I can't read it.
Names are underwritten, the loyal subjects.
It's one of your homework assignments for next week. Put it in either English or Italian. But that's a facsimile.
Spanish too, yeah.
You know, interesting enough, I just thought about this. Interesting enough, all the great documents were short. They weren't long. Like we think it has to be paid. Well, look at Congress. They make a bill, it has to be 2,000 pages.
Well, that's because they got to put their pork in it.
And but look how short this is. And then what did Lincoln do? He wrote the Gettysburg Address on the back of an envelope.
But back here, they weren't looking for what they could get out of it
Right.
themselves that way.
But it's interesting how it's right to the point. It was what they felt that they wanted to establish. And then I gave you a page of the names on the Mayflower. See if your name's in there. Following list of signers is organized into 6 short columns of Morton, 1669, with the numbers and titles of prince. The names were given their modern spelling according to Morrison. Used a number given for the order used by genealogists and half of unnumbered lists. Samuel Fuller will be the 8th name, but merged the half column vertically into full columns for the order used by the other half of unnumbered lists. John Turner will be the 8th name, whatever that means.
That's what I was just thinking.
I read it. I'm confused already.
It was easier to understand this.
But on the front and back, you have the 41. Remember, we said 41 who signed a compact. So I didn't see a Gibson in there.
Yeah, I don't see a more or a Mater. I lose.
Anybody see their name?
My name was there with in the top.
I don't see. I don't see a Pantano in there. Yeah, let's see on the other side.
I graduated with Martins.
Is there a Martin?
Martin.
Martin.
That's where I graduated.
Yeah.
I'm so good at it.
Oh, okay.
I wonder how many of these are Amish names.
Daggery priest.
One was the one helped the Philippines.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, he was also the only one that survived.
Because he had been kidnapped, so he had been taken away. And when he came back, his whole tribe was dead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dang, talk about divine intervention.
Bill,
Lord spared.
we're looking at those signers of the Mayflower Compact, and we don't see a party in here.
No, I don't think we came over to the 1800s.
Oh, you didn't come over to the 1800s. You didn't come. What ship did you come on?
It was called Queen Elizabeth.
Oh my! Oh, you came. Oh, you came in style. Oh.
Yeah, that's true.
We're part of the Latter-day Saints.
Oh. Oh. Were they?
No.
We are really up short this morning.
I believe what you guys tell me.
Did you have to climb a lot of ladders?
All right. Let's look at the first Thanksgiving. What was the name of the Indian who taught the pilgrims how to plant corn and find fish? Squanto. He also taught them to stalk deer, plant pumpkins, find berries, and catch beaver, whose pelts proved to be their economic deliverance. He also was very helpful in securing a peace treaty between the pilgrims and the surrounding Indian tribes, which lasted over 50 years. That treaty. Isn't that something? Squanto. Now let's, Squanto has an interesting history. He has an interesting face. I think he looks like William Brewster. This is William Brewster when he first got up in the morning. Before he got it, you should see me. Well, I like to see all of us when we first get up. Well, no, I wouldn't. 1605, Squanto, a member of the, how do you pronounce that? Pataxa Indian tribe, was captured by an English explorer. Look at this guy's history. And taken to England. He remained there for 9 years, at which time he learned to speak English. In 1614, Captain John Smith took him back to New England. But shortly after this, he was again taken captive and sold into slavery at the port of Spain. In Spain, some friars of the Catholic Church bought and rescued him and introduced him to Christianity. From Spain, he returned to England, where he remained until 1619, when he obtained passage back to his home in New England. After he returned home, his tribe was wiped out by a plague, so he joined himself to a nearby tribe. He remained there until 1621, when he joined himself with the Pilgrims. Governor Bradford appointed a day of Thanksgiving and invited the nearby, now you're going to have to pronounce that one. Oh, you like your Indians. Squanto adopted this tribe to celebrate and give thanks unto God with them. Chief Massaret and 90 of his men feasted with the Pilgrims. They competed in running, wrestling, and shooting game. In fact, they had such a good time, they stayed for 3 days.
Wow.
Squanto. He has an interesting history. Our modern tradition of American Thanksgiving traces its roots back to 1621 with the settlers at Plymouth Colony, Massachusetts.
We don't have that.
We don't have that page.
Oh, don't you? Did it end with Squanto? Oh, it's the last page, too. Well, I'll get it to you, okay? You'll just have to listen. It's an interesting page. When it comes to the first official Thanksgiving celebrated in the United States, where did it begin? That's why you don't have the page.
In Virginia.
When it came to the first official Thanksgiving celebrated in the United States, it was declared at...
Lincoln, right?
Was it Lincoln or was it even later?
Mike, you
I
know?
thought it was Abraham Lincoln.
Your house.
Huh? You got that right. You read ahead of time. It was Wanda and Ken Gibbs who came in on the Mayflower.
Wait, that means we all did too, so.
One is still home cooking. It was actually a place called York, Pennsylvania.
No.
Yes.
What year?
1777.
Okay.
York, Pennsylvania had the first Thanksgiving. The first time these United States were ever mentioned was in York, Pennsylvania.
That's awesome.
A plot to kill George Washington was hatched and found out in York, Pennsylvania. By mistake. saved Washington's life. You'll have to go down to the museum and learn about our history. I went down there and learned about our history.
Wasn't York going to be the capital?
Yeah.
We would we lost it by one vote, to which we celebrate.
But it was the capital.
It was called Washington City at that time. Washington, D.C. was called Washington City, and we lost by one vote to Washington City to be the first capital. We were the first capital for a while, and then they had a vote to permanently, and we lost by one vote. The fall of 1777 was a dark time for the young United States. The British captured Philadelphia, forcing the Second Continental Congress to flee the city, where General George Washington's undersupply army fell back to Valley Forge. That's sad because I don't know if you saw it in the news, Valley Forge Christian University, Assembly of God, is closing its doors at the end of summer. Right away, Messiah University captured on it, and Lancaster Bible. They're having Valley Forge Day for them to come and that. But Valley Forge. The Continental Congress pushed out of Philadelphia in late September, explained Daniel Rowe, Vice President of Interpretation for York County Heritage Trust. They originally headed for Lancaster, Pennsylvania. They find in the state, a state assembly of Pennsylvania is meeting in Lancaster, so they're using all of the facilities, all of the courthouses, and all the lodging places. And they see the Susquehanna River as a nice barrier between Congress and the British Army in Philadelphia. So York is really one of the last outposts before they have to start going south. And so they settle in York.
And they also burned the bridge.
Yeah.
I don't have that part. At the time, York was basically a sleepy farming community composed mainly of German settlers. Rose said, Congress positioned itself in a York courthouse. Even as they struggled to maintain a quorum between delegates, terms coming to an end, there still weren't enough seats for the entire group to fit in the courthouse. So, how many of you are German residents of York? Just one?
Dave was. Dave's family was.
Okay, well, you might want to listen to this paragraph. So the German residents are bringing spare benches and tables from their homes just to help these guys out, Rose said. And while the records of the time indicate that few of the local residents may have engaged in a bit of price gouging for the desperate delegates' housing costs, there was a general sense of support for the revolutionary cause in York. I'll give you this page, okay? In fact, we'll run it off and have it before you leave. So that's York, Pennsylvania. There's a lot of history in York. Did you know that? If you go down to the museum, a lot of history here. York also surrendered to the Confederates. Did you know that? Yeah.
That's why our town was burned.
And I think, I'm not sure about this, but I think it's on Mount Rose Avenue, like when you go out, like when you go to Mount Rose and you're going into town. I think on the left, at least, I don't know that for sure, but Sam Schwartz told me that was the house where they shot Lincoln. Booth lived at one time. So if that's true, York has quite an interesting history. So you should visit, go downtown, visit. Of course, the Articles of Confederation were written in York. Yeah, Articles of Confederation. So they they use the phrase "the first capital" because it was established as the first capital since the Articles of Confederation was written here. So that's a little history of York. Yes, it's double-sided. If you hurry, we can get it before we go in.
A dozen?
15, make 15.
Candy brought in a poster of the Indian.
I saw that. Let's see if those. Yeah, Candy's going to show a big poster of all the native tribes. I think those in Alaska, right? I think that.
No, whole North America.
Oh well, look for these two. Can you remember their names? No, he was the end. I don't think he'll be on his picture. It's a Patuxent and what was that other Wampanoag?
Toxin, Passamaquoddy. Diane's history shows that somewhere back in this time frame, she had an Indian tribe called the Passamaquoddy.
Oh.
Northern Maine was part of her family tree.
Wow.
We haven't been able to prove it, and doing
Wow.
the generic blood test, they don't show any Indian in her. But
What Indian tribes were around York?
Well, my wife's
Susquehanna,
background has Iroquois.
Iroquois.
Yeah, Iroquois, which is supposed to be nearby.
Yeah, it's the Five Nation.
Iroquois, Susquehanna. Any other? I know there's some other tribes around this area.
There's the Delaware Indians, right?
Delaware would maybe be close by. Yeah. Yeah. Now, on my side of the state, Western Pennsylvania would be, let's see, that movie that you just saw, Washington. Yeah, a lot of that was based on Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's
Great.
Fort was.
Washington wanted that land called the Great Meadows. Still there today. When we go on 40, you can see it. Great Meadows. And my 1965 high school graduation, they usually went to a resort area, but for 1965, for our graduation, we went to Fort Necessity.
Oh, wow.
And that was in the movie. And they go, remember they said, why did you call it Fort Necessity? Because it was a necessity, he said, to build this fort. And it's still there today, Fort Necessity. So that's Washington's country. He thrived in Western Pennsylvania. But I forget all the tribes that were out there. That's the French and Indian War was occurring out there. So she'll bring that back. Any other comments you have about the lesson today? You learned about the Pilgrims and you learned about Squanto. Next week, we're going to learn about the seeds of a nation, planting the seeds of the nation, and we're going to learn about our form of government. Our form of government, which is based on church history. Did you know that? So when the Pilgrims came and other people came, here's what was happening. They were coming into Virginia. Some of them was coming into Virginia, going south, and basically they were the Episcopalians. Others were coming in and going into Pennsylvania, the Presbyterians. And they were moving through Pennsylvania. The third group was moving to the north of the 13 colonies, and they were called the Congregationalists. Okay? So the Congregationalists is everyone has a say. I pastor a Congregational church. Everyone has a say. The Presbyterians are ruled by what?
Presbyterian.
Elders. And the Episcopalians, top down. Three forms of our government. The executive, top down. Elders are the Senate. And the Congregationalists are the representatives that we elect to represent us. So when they formed the government of the United States, they formed it on church history, on church. And you'll see that as we get into it. So there's a lot of underlining things that happen in America that are Christian and has a Christian base from our founders. Did you make copies?
My code still isn't working, so now it's jammed up in the machine because it's...
Oh boy. I'm glad you jammed it up. You're in trouble. I would say,
I know, you'll send JC.
I would suggest either you go to the altar or go home.
I think I better go to the altar.
I'll escort you out.
Nah, we'll get it.
So keep me safe. Okay. I was hoping you could see me to the altar.
See Tammy before you leave today. We'll have them. And then make sure I get that copy back. Okay, guys, thanks so much. Appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying that series. We'll finish up the end of August here.